Home again. It's a weekday evening, and sometime about now, parents throughout the country are beginning to ask, as if in a chorus, have you done your homework? Well, children, if you're listening, just reply, no, I haven't, mum, dad or guardian, because frankly, it doesn't correlate with student success. The great homework debate has reared its head again after a primary school teacher's new policy on homework went viral on Facebook. The teacher, Mrs. Brandy Young, says in a note to parents, research has been unable to prove that homework improves student performance. I'm just mumbling in case my children are listening. Rather, I ask that you spend your evenings doing things that are proven to correlate with student success. Well, New Zealander John Hattie, a world-renowned educationalist who's now a professor at the University of Melbourne, says Mrs. Brandy Young is on the right track. Projects in particular, he says, which often involve children who don't know what's required of them, writing about something they don't really understand, are the biggest waste of time. But what else does he know?
Well, the evidence shows that in primary schools, the effect is very low to zero, but it does increase in high schools. But it's really important, John, to talk about the nature of the homework that works. We certainly know that any homework that is an opportunity to rehearse, practice something done at school is quite successful. We know that projects are the biggest failures that we know of in homework. We know time doesn't matter, so whether your son's doing 15 minutes or 50 minutes, doesn't matter, so make it short. And we also know that if teachers don't assess it and the kids learn very quickly, it's not important.
What about revision? For example, and I'm sorry for singling out my son, but we've just been doing the periodic table. And so in order for him to have any chance of remembering anything on the periodic table, you've just got to sit there and repeat the damn thing. Is that worthwhile?
Well, there's nothing wrong with memorisation, provided it then leads to understanding in depth. And maybe that is a role that parents can do. Because let's not assume that every kid has a parent like you that's prepared to sit down and help and has the time and the tolerance and to sit down and help. And that's another problem with homework. It really increases the gap between those who have and those who don't have. And so if the periodic tables is a way to get you involved, it's not such a bad thing, provided it's then used at school. And remember, John, homework is something set by the school. So I took the very strong view as a parent that if my kids didn't do homework, it was a school problem. Make it more interesting, school. Make it more appropriate. Make it more engaging for the kid want to do it.
This is a remarkable meta-analysis. How much work have you had to draw these conclusions from? I mean, these are informed, rational conclusions based on a huge sample, aren't they?
I've got somewhere close to, over 250 million students in the sample, yes. In homework, there have been literally hundreds and hundreds of studies that have shown the same thing continually. It has a small positive effect in high school if it's done correctly, close to zero. Now, I wouldn't encourage primary schools to drop homework because you'll get complaints from parents. Just make it short, just make it something to rehearse and get over it.
John Hattie throwing down the gauntlet on behalf of children everywhere.